driving teachers. If you don't know, I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. It's very common for instructors to engage in non-positive ways of dealing with students with ADHD. Students often have negative thoughts about their personalities as well as instructors. Each instructor must recognize and have the appropriate actions when you're teaching someone how to drive who has attention deficit disorder or who is oppositional defiant. Self-esteem, positive attitude, and trustworthiness are very important things that I look for as an instructor when I get into the car with someone. Adult and teen are alike. Success in the classroom is a must. I value teaching in the classroom. There, I build a relationship with students, and then from that point, POINT, we build a relationship, and I get the students into the car. The goal is to build strength and trust. Many people believe students with ADHD have chose to behave in a certain way and act a certain way. Some people view them as lazy or defiant. Students have a neurological reason for their behavior, and poor performance or lack of productivity in the classroom can be one of those factors. There are many things I look for, and I'm going to take a moment to go over some of these things to help you understand if you happen to be a student that I'm driving or if you're a student with ADHD. So we're going to go ahead and talk about these things. One, never give up on any student. STUDENT. Never give up. There's always a way for someone to learn, whether that's visual, audio, or written. Don't know how much it matters that you believe in them. Maintain high expectations. If you've taken the time to listen to my content and seen my videos, I set high expectations for myself as well as my classroom students. It's important that we, myself, and the student or students set high goals. HIGH. Hey, GOLAS. Set high goals. When you set high goals, you will reach those goals. Do not listen to peers, colleagues, or others who only want to pass on the negative traits and characteristics. In other words, the world is full of haters who want to hold you back and tell you you cannot accomplish those things. You need to have confidence in yourself, SELF, and the other person. Time and time again, I've talked about believing in the person learning how to drive. I fully believe that. Over the past 23 years, I've had a wide variety of students. Every student has the capability and the attitude to learn how to drive. Do not make assumptions about a child who is from a cultural ethnicity, ETHNICITY, other than your own. Meaning, I'm African American. What if I had someone who was European or African American or from another country? Never assume. We all have cultural differences, and that's what makes the world beautiful. I need you to understand that. Awareness is extremely important, and understanding the culture is even more important. If I run into a student who is of a different culture than mine, I will do research because I want to learn about that culture. Maybe a handshake might be different from their culture. Personal space is another thing. Again, do not give up on a student. When you give up on a student, they give up on themselves. Always have a caring heart to help support them. Do not tell a student you won't want to do that. Rather than tell them, I want to see you make the correct decision. Don't interrupt class. Instead, say, please raise your hand and ask a question. I'm very big on classroom management. That's where that bond comes in to teach your student in the classroom, driver's education fundamentals, and then take those fundamentals into the car, C-A-R, and then we apply those driving elements on the street, S-T-R-E-E-T. Do choose to make adaptations and special arrangements to take students for success. I'm always about success. My teachers gave me a chance. Thank you, Coach Hoskins. It's important that you have teachers believe in you. And when teachers believe in you, you'll believe in yourself. The same thing is with driving. You have to give them confidence when they don't have driving. Yesterday, I had a student who was very nervous to go into the expressway. I modeled. I showed him what to do. I set high expectations. When you make a right turn, I need you to start accelerating on the gas and picking up speed. I showed him what to do. I supported him. He merged out at 30 miles an hour. We were too slow. S-L-O-W. You have to support your students. They don't know how to drive. And many parents assume, oh, I took them around the block. We went in the neighborhood. So? That means nothing. They don't know how to drive. They don't know where the gas pedal is. They don't know where the brake pedal is. They do not know where the clutch is. They don't even know how to put the car in drive. D-R-I-V-E. So you have to keep it very simple, very pure, and when you see success, you elevate them. I'm a firm believer in elevation. Thank you, Deion Sanders. Do not focus on undue amount of your attention on the student's misbehavior. We all misbehave. Your parents won't listen to you. Young people, you won't listen to your parents. You have to prove to them why you're bringing value. You can't make your son or daughter learn how to drive. It won't happen like that. They have to want to drive. Post-COVID, they are groups of 19, 21, 24, 27-year-olds, 29-year-olds who don't want to drive. Mom and Dad, I'm here to tell you, they don't want to drive. You could have a car for them. They don't care. You can pay for private lessons. They don't care. Because I've done that before. I went on an assignment. I had a student. He was almost 18. He needed 20 hours of driving. The company paid for 20 hours for me to drive him because his parents were divorced. That's the sad part. I had to be his surrogate dad. I was this driver's ed dad. And I helped him prepare for the next element of driving in his life. That's being selfless. That's kind candor. That's willing to support someone. Many of you listening don't care, and that's okay. I'm of the audience that people who want to learn how to drive, who want to gain the confidence, who want to gain the support, will follow me, will subscribe. And once you elevate to that choice, you'll reach out to me. You will follow me. You'll become a channel member. You'll listen to my podcast, which is called Driving with Myles, and it's on Spotify, where I take you through the journey. Driving is a very personal decision. Mom and Dad, you can't make an 18-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 29-year-old choose driving. They have to do it when they're ready. Do not be afraid to make various accommodations or adjustments as needed. I'm very flexible. Once I see a student master merging on the expressway, usually 3 to 5 times. Merging on and off counts as one. An expressway, O-N-E, an expressway is a limited access lane, meaning you take a ramp to go on, O-N, and you take a ramp to get off, O-F-F. It's very difficult to merge out onto the expressway. Students have fear, and many non-believers or those adult contemporary drivers don't believe it. All these drivers who are going 80, 90, 100, aggressively tailgating us, had to learn how to drive. Somewhere along the way, they lost kindness. They're road raging on us because we're 5 under, we're 7 under. I'm on both sides of this equation. I do not want to be the trigger or the spark, S-P-A-R-K, to light off road rage. I don't want to do that. But I understand the struggle and the fear. But I'm driving your daughter. I'm driving your son. And kind candor is extremely important. Thank you, Gary V. You have to be kind, because my words can hurt or bring life to my students. So I'm very careful about the words that I say. So mom and dad, when you scream at your son or daughter, you are shutting them down. They don't want to be with you. I've had many conversations that many of you don't know about. If there's a mom and dad, one person is in the passenger seat in the front and the other parent's in the back, you are doing more harm, H-A-R-M, to your son or daughter than helping them. I can't drive with my daughter. She makes me crazy. You make her crazy because you're screaming at her. She will perform the maneuver in time. It's not your time. It's your son or daughter's time. Don't be a backseat driver. B-A-C-K-S-E-A-T-D-R-I-V-E-R, because you're going to confuse your son or daughter. Your husband may say go right. You say go left. They go straight and run a light. I've had these conversations. You won't ever hear them because you have shut down your son or daughter. They're so emotionally scarred. And I need you to understand this, but you don't believe it. Be persistent. I am very persistent. I'm not going to let a student give up on themselves. Positive characteristics of children or adults with ADHD. Next, be warm-hearted. I have a good sense of humor. I'm very warm-hearted. I care. And if I was fake, F-A-K-E, you would be able to tell. I'm going to be real with my students. If you're not doing a good job and you're going to slam it to the curb, I'm going to tell you. Because you have to have ownership. I have a brake, but if I keep hitting the brake, you're never going to learn how to drive. If you turn wide and I have to turn the wheel back, you're not going to learn. You will get hit. There's a difference between a first drive where you're guiding the student and a second, third, or fourth, or fifth drive. If I'm driving a student on drive 5, they must understand what to do. They must understand how to excel. And once they understand and excel, they will do their best. Next, you need to be empathetic. And if you're empathetic to going to conferences, meeting with other instructors, getting on a Zoom call, hey, here's what I see over the past 2 or 3 years. I see the same thing too. Or I see moms or dads not really taking their sons and daughters out. There's so many elements that many of you don't know because you haven't taken the time to really look at my content, right? You got to negotiate. Things come up all the time. I had a young man break his leg. He was sponsored by a motorcycle company, and he actually broke his ankle. So he missed some drives. So you have to understand and be sympathetic. You got to be full of ideas. Some students like to sit up front. Some students like to sit in back, and that's fine. I want an interactive Gamified classroom. I have Kahoots. I have Quizlets. I have custom learning games to prepare all of my students, okay, for an IEP. I'm in education. IEP. You need to know what that is. This means your dad or mom, an adult, needs to be able to read the test to you. A lot of beginning drivers don't read perfectly. They don't understand signs, and I'm sympathetic. I understand that. You got to be resourceful. Good instructors are resourceful. Hey, John, can you take this young man out? He's really nervous. You're more relaxed than I am. Hey, the two drivers you have are very nervous. I was supporting my students yesterday. This young man merged on the freeway. He did really good. He was struggling a little bit keeping the car in the lane, but that's normal. Mom and dad, your sons and daughters will not drive perfectly the first 1,000 times. Stop screaming at them. Next, be sensitive to the needs of others. I have my new class tonight. If I come in hard and crazy, my class is going to be like, oh my God, he's so scary. If I come in too soft, they're going to walk over me. I'm going to come in the middle. I know what I need to do. I need to write down names. I need to create that roster. I'm going to have kids making up days. It's recorded. If kids don't be on camera and they're asleep, I'm going to give you one warning, and then I'm removing you. The state requires these things if you're doing an online class. Okay? You need to understand this, and many of you don't. You just think, oh, it's a game. It's not a game. GAME. You have to do wants to please people. I'm in the middle. I'm a people pleaser to a point, but I'm not going to lose my essence of who I am. COVID taught me that. You can't please everyone, and I'm not going to try to please everyone. I have to have my mental health. I work 10 hours. I'm not scared to work, but if you do 10 hours day after day after day after day, you're going to get fatigued. You're going to crash. It's not worth all the money in the world. I want to be a high quality, high energy instructor. And those of you who know me, that's what I am. I want to have the desire to do things right and be honest. I'm not going to change who I am because of a student. And I'm going to be funny above all else because I have a dynamic sense of humor, and I need you to understand that. I am accepting, and I do forgive. We all have things we need to work on. I'm verbal. I have easy conversations with my students because I care. I want to know, do you have a job? What are your goals for the future? I want you to be successful. But also you need to think, how bad was the driving situation? How many mistakes did they make? Do we need to pull over and refocus for a moment? I want you to follow me on my podcast. It's called Driving with the Myles on Spotify. If this brought you value, give it a thumbs up. Bye.